This edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by Mission Pro Wrestling. Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell is coming up on November 6th. Get your tickets now on missionprowrestling.net. If you're not able to be in the Texas area on November 6th, you can stream it live on Title Match Wrestling Network. Without further ado, this is Tru Heel Heat. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are back once again, the final stop before Tru Heel Heat 100. It is Tru Heel Heat 99, our last time with 2 digits behind Tru Heel Heat.
Right?
On this edition of Tru Heel Heat, we will be discussing all of the latest wrestling news, including arguably the most brutal match in WWE history, the backstage reaction to WWE's third-party ban being very hostile apparently, 2 new documentaries for WWE, and week 53 of the Wednesday Night Wars, as well as preview and predictions for New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020 and AEW Full Gear 2020 as well. And I am back once again with the princess of all the true heels, Miss Krssi Love.
Hello to everyone.
Glad to see you all yellowed out. Is Laker colors. I like it.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know.
I just made it Laker colors. We're going to be joined by our resident Tru Heel alcoholic, Top Guy JJ, very shortly. But I have to introduce our very special guest for Tru Heel Heat 99. He is one of the very best when it comes to wrestling interviews in the entire wrestling media. He is my brethren from WrestleTalk, from Wrestle2 YouTube channels, one of the co-hosts for Alex McCarthy's Wrestling Daily. It is the one, the only, Louis Dangor. What's going on, bro?
Woo! That's an introduction I don't even think I've ever got. So you are too kind. You are too kind. No, I like you guys' show. So when you asked me, it was not a hard decision to say I'd come on. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you both, and obviously JJ once he comes on, and we'll chat some wrestling. And hopefully, I don't know if you guys have seen Wrestling Daily from today, but I kind of embarrassed myself with a bit of a hot take that I had.
Oh, don't worry. I was gonna bring up your hot take when we talk about a certain 5-star match that came over the weekend. I was gonna get to your opinion on a previous 5-star match because that was a salty one. As long as Harvey is there. Is Harvey there with you?
Harvey's in bed. It's what time is it now? It's 9. So he's doing his sleeping. So Harvey's my dog for anyone that doesn't know. So I sent in a video of a hot take. And I was like, okay, this is a bit hot. So I'm going to have my dog feature in the video. So no one can be that mean to me. Because my dog is there and he's cute. But it didn't stop people being incredibly mean. But no, he is in bed now. So unfortunately, he won't be making an appearance.
It's sad. We send our best to Harvey for sure. But don't worry, no one's going to cut shoot promos like Stephanie did on you during Wrestling Daily for Thursday. This edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by our very good friends over at Wrestling Travel, as well as Mission Pro Wrestling and their Tournament Out of Hell big show coming up on Friday, November 6th. If you are watching this when it goes live on our YouTube channel, it's probably after this show has happened, so you can order it on Title Match Wrestling Network. Huge show featuring Thunder Rosa going one-on-one with Ray Lynn. Shout outs to Thunder Rosa and our great interview that we had with her. So always kind to those people at Mission Pro Wrestling. And of course, this is the final stop before Tru Heel Heat 100. We're going to have a whole bunch of very special guests for next week, but we have to welcome Louis with us as our final guest for 99 before we get to 100. So you have this honor and you complete the Wrestling Daily Infinity Gauntlet. We've had Alex McCarthy on, we've had Stephanie Chase, and now you.
Listen, I feel that I'm like the go home angle before the pay-per-view that is 100. So no, I'm more than honoured to be asked to be on this one over any other show.
You have to live up to Eddie Kingston and John Moxley's promo. So we
I don't know if that's possible from anyone.
You can come close. You're my Eddie Kingston, sir.
That's a compliment. I'll take that.
Exactly. So we have to start off things with our Tru Heel roll call. This is for our subscribers, our viewers of the Tru Heel Heat podcast, whether you're listening to it or watching us on YouTube. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and of course, the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. But our roll call is for everyone's supporting us on social media as well. So we start with our top 3 conversation starters. Coming in at number 3 is our New Japan aficionado James Wims. Coming in at number 2 is Argino Bismone, and coming in at number 1 is the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. So Nick is going to be on Tru Heel Heat 100, and I said we are going to retire his jersey for the 53 weeks straight that he's been on top of the Tru Heel Trinity.
Yeah.
Tru Heels, we got to shout out Marcus Diet, Reno Red, Mike Bryce, Michael Flanagan, and Raise on Wrestling over on the Twitter machine. A couple of YouTube subscriber highlights for our comment section. Shaw Powers commented on J News Japan, and he says, I've been enjoying Strong more than a lot of the main roster New Japan stuff, minus A Block. That was great. Dimitri Dixon commented on our Tru Heels BTR with Red Velvet. Great interview there. Very inspiring young lady who was on AEW Dynamite this past week, but got destroyed by Nyla Rose. God bless her soul. He said that this was a great video. I love her energy, and she does have a very infectious energy. Dose of Reality 420 commented on Dark Power. Nice shirt, talking about the Stat King. He says, I love that you guys cover UWN and Mission Pro Wrestling. I have been subbed to your channel for a while, but I rarely have time to watch but anything except for the indies. So thanks for keeping me up to date. We appreciate the love. And Jay Lethal, I'm pretty sure this is not the Jay Lethal from Ring of Honor.
It is.
It is. You're probably right. I'll give you credit. He commented on Tru Heel Heat 98, and he said SP3 was definitely getting his Meltzer on this episode. I think he's referring to me not going 5 stars on Bayley versus Sasha. Great match, just not 5 stars to me. To each his own. And Kayfabe Tactics says, I think the first half of Nitro is winning the Monday Night Wars, talking about True Rewind 27. He said it's 2 back-to-back matches that were great. I can't wait until we get to an even better roster and more time. It's going to be great to rewatch. I agree with you. I hope we've got past 1995, so 1996 is getting better in our True recovery. But we start off things with what we missed, and what we missed was NXT UK with Volta defeating Ilya Dragunov in an absolute classic, instant classic. It was described by many as the most brutal match in WWE history, and the first WWE match of 2020 to receive 5 stars from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Louis, what was your thoughts on Volta versus Ilya Dragunov? Do you think that it was a 5-star matchup, and just your overall thoughts on it being described as the most brutal WWE match in history?
So I think why this match was so impressive was because they used the fact there was no crowd to their advantage, and we haven't really seen that. Like, it's a skill. If they did the exact same match in front of fans, I don't think it would work as well, and I don't know any other match that I can say that for over the pandemic era. I think apart from possibly, like, in terms of pure wrestling match, like, I'm not counting things like Firefly Funhouse or Stadium Stampede. I think this was the best match of the no fans era. And let's not forget, like, they are no fans at all. No one in the crowd, no one anything like that. It's literally no fans. So, no, listen, I think to do what they did in that capacity was incredibly impressive. I thought it probably deserved 5 stars for that on its own. It was a great match, incredibly brutal. I think the fact that Ilya Dragunov is so pale really helped, because his chest just lit up whenever Walter hit him with the chops. So no, it was a really good match, and I think it was just another great outing for Volta, another great outing for NXT UK. So yeah, good stuff all round.
Well, how about you, Miss Krssi Love? What was your thoughts on this match and those chops by Volta?
I became Volta fan. When did y'all make me like, no, you gotta watch him, Krssi, you gotta watch him? And to watch this match was just insane. And like you guys said, for no crowd, it gave us so much energy. I feel for no one to even be in the building, but they told us a story, and they gave us something that we haven't like seen this. I guess this whole pandemic per se from anyone. But I kudos to them. Very, very good match.
Yeah, I think it was the Tyler Bate match last year at Takeover Cardiff that I was just like, you gotta watch this match. This match is amazing. I got a little bit of heat myself, Louis, yesterday on Wrestling Daily on Wednesday. I said that this match wasn't 5 stars to me. I think it was 5 and 3/4, very close. I just wish, I know it's nothing that they can control, not having a crowd, but having a crowd and Dragunov winning, in my opinion, would have made this absolutely perfect. It's probably the best empty arena match I've ever seen in my life, but I don't think it was a perfect match. It was very close though. It's just absolutely brutal, absolutely hard hitting, and I love this match, and I don't disagree with anyone who thinks it's one of the matches of the year.
Yeah.
But Louis, we have to bring up your hot take, and I'll tell Krssi all about it. Louis has been described as the co-host on Wrestling Daily, who is the what do they call you, the salty one, or?
No, I think I don't know why. I don't know. Okay, let me explain this. So I sent in a hot take. So I do the hot takes for the show. So we have 1 or 2 people send in videos with their hot takes, and we were a bit short today. So I was like, okay, let me send one in. So I think they took it as I was trying to worm my way into the show. It's a bit of a joke. But this hot take, listen, in hindsight, I don't think I explained it very well. But I stick by it. And a few people in the comments agreed with me. So I don't think I'm totally out of my mind. But I think the general consensus was it was a miss. It was definitely it was a miss. That's all I can say.
Well, for Krssi, I don't think she was able to catch Wrestling Daily today. Please tell her what your hot take was on a certain 5-star match from last year.
I was going to leave that to you because I don't even think I can say it. But I will. So, I said Cody versus Dustin from Double or Nothing was very good. It was very, very good. It was emotional, but it wasn't 5 stars. I don't think it was the match of the night, the match of the year candidate that everyone was making it out to be. And
I think the blood was what made everyone go like, "Oh my god!"
I thought Michaels. Yeah, I said, I thought Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker was better.
Yes, so I think I agree.
But
which one?
Both. I think both were better. First, especially. First, as in the Mania matches. I think first was definitely better. Second was probably better. I basically said that, but I think people assume that for me to be like, oh, no one speaks about that match, when it was more from, I guess, Meltzer's stance. And I know this is just one person's opinion, but I don't know how you can watch both matches and give Cody and Dustin 5 stars, but not, for example, Taker and Shawn.
Agreed.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I wasn't able to comment, but I totally agree that Meltzer was off when he rated the WrestleMania 25 match between HBK and Taker. If there was ever a 5-star WWE matchup, that's it.
That one, yep.
That's it. I completely agree with you. I think like you said, your wording was a little bit off, and that's why they was like, "Oh, what do you mean people don't claim that this match is great? It is great." I think it
came off that I was like, "Hey, there's this match that no one remembers that I'm talking about," and then all right, what? And I'm like, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. And they're like, now everyone talks about that, but what I meant was in terms of if you watch them side by side, and I know this is an issue with, I guess, Meltzer star ratings, and not with them, but people, and even myself, I take them as gospel. Like when I look at the newsletter every week, I do look for his star ratings, and I do take them as a guide. So when he talks about like I used to anyway, but now I've got more into it myself. I've realized that, say I didn't watch like Hell in a Cell, I think, all right, if I need to watch any of the Hell in a Cell matches, I'll skip the first one, Roman and Jey. That got 3.5 or 3 and I think 1/4. So I was like, all right, I'll skip that one. But no, that for me was the best match on the card. I understand why he gave it the rating he did, because in terms of actual wrestling, it wasn't like there wasn't wrestling stuff. But I think that it's more of an issue in terms of the fact, how could you give one 5 stars and the other, which, as you say, if there's ever a WWE main roster match that was 5 stars, it's Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania 25.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a couple of times on here, like for matches like AJ Styles versus John Cena from like SummerSlam 2016 or Royal Rumble 2017. Those are 5-star matches to me, but he gave it just 4 3/4. And I've been called a melter myself by giving matches, 4 3/4 instead of 5 stars. So I definitely agree with you. Melter looks for certain things that we don't all look for, that we would describe as a perfect match, but he's looking for something else. So I got what you were saying. It wasn't that hot of a take for getting, shoot promoed on by Stephanie.
I messaged her after the show, and I was like, "Thank you for going easy on me." And she was like, "It's fine. What can I do? What can I do?" But you know what? But I stick by it. I think now it's very hard to explain, and this isn't just for me; it's for anyone with a hot take. It's very hard to explain what you're trying to get across in 30 seconds.
Yes, that's one of probably the best parts of Wrestling Daily. So we got to get Krssi to send in a hot take. You got some spicy takes. Maybe you're
Okay.
she has called the G1 climax. She said it sounds like a porno more than a wrestling tournament.
Oh my God. You have to tell everybody this.
In isolation, in isolation, I don't disagree. If you said to me, "Oh, I'm going to watch the G1 climax," and I didn't know what the G1 climax was, I wouldn't be like, "Okay, it's not an adult movie." I wouldn't automatically watch.
Okay, so that's not too much of a hot take. See, you always different opinions here on Tru Heel Heat.
So I'm the guest. I've got to be nice to you guys. I can't just sit here and slate your hot takes.
You can. It's fine. We like the heat.
We like the heat. Exactly. That's why it's True Hills. That's fine.
We gotta move on to SmackDown. Over on SmackDown, where was Jey Uso turning heel and falling in line with not the tribal chief, your tribal chief, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, by defeating and destroying Daniel Bryan. We also had Aaliyah Mysterio proclaim her love for Murphy to her family. I would ask you go to you, Krssi. What was your thoughts on the Aaliyah Mysterio storyline? I know you review SmackDown with your kids. How was that? How was explaining that storyline to your 2 young boys?
It was more so funny that I had to explain it to my husband more than the kids. Because he's like, wait, hold on. Who is that? And what happened? And like, how old is she? And wait, how old is he? Like the whole like dynamic between all of them. I was like, okay, well, I had to like literally like pause the TV. I'm like, okay, well, this is who this is. That's Rey Mysterio's daughter. I had to go down like the whole list, like the whole like background story.
The whole family tree.
The whole family tree, exactly. And then he's like, okay. And then once he saw the fight of the father and son come, he's like, oh, so this is like some real like hood stuff going on outside, like in the ring though. Yeah, it was really fun, to explain that to Mr. Love,
I always love Mr. Love's reaction to those type of stuff, so I definitely gotta go out my way to watch it. Just that in isolation. Louis, what's your thoughts on Jey Uso's heel turn and the potential stable behind our tribal chief, Roman Reigns?
Oh, I love it. I love everything that Roman Reigns is doing right now. I think he's fantastic. And I don't think actually Jey Uso is getting enough credit for holding up more than his end of the bargain with this whole thing. He has been fantastic. And I mean, over the last, I think, 2 months or a month even, he's beaten AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan on TV. So I think and he hasn't quit really with Roman Reigns. So I mean, those 2 matches, like his brother threw in the towel once, and then he only, I guess, quit to protect his brother. So I mean, the story is incredible, and it's got so much potential. I really love it. The stable when Jimmy eventually comes back, and I guess we might have like a Jimmy and Jay match, which I just love. Where I guess Jimmy is
brother and brother, another one. Wow, that would be awesome. I didn't even think about that yet.
Where Jimmy's kind of like, well, exactly. Jimmy's like, what are you doing? What have you become?
Right.
I think it could be so cool. And if you told me, even a couple of months ago, that my favorite thing in WWE, in wrestling, would be heel Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship in an I Quit Hell in a Cell match against Jey Uso, I'd be like, no, you're crazy. No. But honestly, it's been my favorite thing, and it's come out of nowhere. And for once with WWE, and I'm not a WWE hater, but I think it's pretty objectively known that they don't tend to follow long-term storytelling or things that are well thought out. But you can tell this is thought out week in, week out. Everything they've done since Roman's return has made sense. And when was the last time we could say that a storyline running from the middle of August to now, so 2.5 months, everything has made sense?
It's
Like,
the best thing going on right now. The whole thing. If you want to,
yeah,
you know,
it is
talk about it.
100%.
It's definitely one of the best storylines of 2020. It's by far the best storyline in WWE. I would say in a few years. Like, yeah, I would say since like Bryan versus The Authority, this is the most I've been into a WWE feud, and that one happened by accident. This one was.
Listen, Road Dogg has said it didn't, and I trust Road Dogg. If he said that it's not, I have no reason not to believe good, honest Road Dogg. But as you say, this seems like it's thought out, like this is the plan all along. At no point have I felt, that wasn't the plan or that hasn't worked. Everything has hit, and it's hit probably better than I expected it to. After Clash of Champions, I was like, I don't want to see another match between them because they'll just retread old ground and it won't be fresh. And then I was like, how can they top Clash of Champions? And then Hell in a Cell happened, and that's how you top Clash of Champions. So they're proving me wrong, they're proving everyone wrong. And that's what you want from a wrestling show. You want to be surprised. You want to, as much as we like to be right, there's no better thing in wrestling when you think you're right and then you get proved wrong by company. And you're like, okay, maybe I'm not the smart ass than I thought I was. So no, this was great. And honestly, if people are turned off by WWE, and I understand why they would be, I think this is a perfect storyline to get you back in and make you realize that when they put their minds to it, the video packages, no one does them better. When they put their mind to it, no one is better than WWE.
Yeah.
They just hit all the boxes. They check all the boxes up and down. And I've said it on a few occasions, but if we would have got this Roman Reigns 5 years ago, Roman would not be in WWE because he's so good. He would be in Hollywood. His acting, his portrayal of this character has proven to me that he would have had a run if he would have turned heel a long time ago.
100%. He'll be, I think once this pandemic is over, he'll be in Hollywood before.
We're gonna have another star that leaves us and goes over to make movies. No,
I think he's that good. Honestly, he's been.
What? Wow.
The final note from SmackDown: Sasha Banks and Bayley make their rematch official. That's going to be coming up this coming week on SmackDown. Over on Raw, Drew McIntyre stops The Miz from cashing in Money in the Bank, and then he defeats.
Bad, man.
And then he.
But it was the best Raw in a long time, and it was still a bad Raw.
That makes sense. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. All of the above.
Because they set the bar so low, it's like when it goes above a 5, it's the best Raw in a while. Like that's how low they've set the bar.
Yeah.
He also defeated Miz and Morrison in the main event. We also had Braun Strowman qualify for Team Raw by beating Keith Lee and Sheamus in a pretty good 3-way match, I might say. It was a lot of a hoss fight, a 3-way hoss fight, which was nice. And AJ Styles was the MVP of that whole entire segment with his commentary.
AJ is the best, man.
Why? I just love AJ. We also had The Fiend further set his sights on Randy Orton. Hurt Business defeat The New Day in a non-title match, and of course our favorite subject here on Tru Heel Heat, Retribution attacked Ricochet and Tucker, as well as Reckoning set her sights on Asuka. This is one route I didn't think we would see, is Reckoning versus Asuka feud. Do you think that has any potential and might be able to revitalize this whole Retribution angle? I'll start with you, Louis.
No. No. Like, I don't think anything can. The only thing that could legitimately do it is if they attack Vince McMahon and kayfabe kill him off, and that's how we get rid of Vince McMahon. If we're sitting here in a week's time and that's how Retribution, like that's what they do on Raw next week, I'd be like, okay, maybe there's something for this group. But no. Like, there's nothing I can legitimately think of they could do that could save this group. I don't like throwing this word around, but they've been buried for me.
I think it's not a word that you throw around in this occasion, honestly. And then the final note that I have from Raw, which I'll ask you about, Krssi, is Lana goes through a table for the seventh time in 8 weeks, and apparently this is all a part of a big babyface push for Lana. I will give them credit though. This was the first week where Lana was portrayed as a babyface. The other weeks where she went through tables, she was just a dweeby heel who Nia Jax comically put through a table. But this week they actually portrayed her as a babyface, in my opinion. But what's your thoughts on this recurring joke on Monday Night Raw of Lana going through a table, Krssi?
That's what the only thing that she's actually really good for right now. Unfortunately, I'm sad to say, love her, but unfortunately, right now they're using her as a gimmick. Like they're not taking this seriously, really. Like we're not. Come on, Lana, really? Like for her to even be in the whole like Survivor Series like group is just like comical to me. Anywho, but yeah, let her keep going through tables. If she want to keep going through tables. It's all fun and games. It's all that's what she's here for. You used to be thrown through a table, sis.
Yeah, I
Sad
mean,
to say. Sorry.
yeah, there's not much else I could say from Lana other than this at this point.
Right, exactly. You know, she has an accent one week, and the other week she doesn't have an accent. So, like, let's throw her through tables every week now. That's what she's good for.
At least she's kind of dropped that. At least she's staying straight with just the English accent from now. And then our final.
I don't hate it.
You don't?
No.
What do you see the potential out of this?
So
Yeah,
I think
please.
she's going to be the sole survivor at Survivor Series.
Oh, like every like other match, she's gonna like be sitting in the corner or like on the floor, and then all of a sudden she just wins.
Nia Jax is going to put her through the table right at the beginning. Everyone,
Okay.
everyone else will get eliminated, and then she'll be there on the side. I think it will be her and Nia Jax. Nia Jax will win the whole thing for herself. She'll be celebrating, and Lana will still be
Lana.
Lana will still be lying down on the announce table that's been broken, just dead, not having done anything. But she'll be the survivor. I think that, and then she'll run around saying that she was one of the sole survivors. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I think it's listen, as you said, like Lana. If this was happening to an Asuka, with all due respect to Lana, if this was happening to an Asuka or a Shayna Baszler or a Bianca Belair, I'd be sitting here thinking this isn't great, but.
Right.
Lana's getting on TV more than she has before. And I mean, people are saying, Lana's getting buried for the whole Miro stuff. It's not like Lana was winning beforehand.
Exactly.
She never was winning. Right.
You telling me Lana gets on the Survivor Series team like last year? Or I don't know, she might have been actually. But she doesn't get featured on TV every single week facing the Raw Women's Champion. That doesn't happen. So I genuinely think they in their own way have plans for her somehow.
I think this is a direction. I will give you that. You're on point there. This is more direction than she has been in the past. Our final show that we missed during our time off was Impact Wrestling this week. Sami Callihan and Eric Young beat Eddie Edwards and Rich Swann, setting up Sami versus Rich for the Impact World Title at Turning Point. The investigation of who shot Bravo begins with 10 suspects named. Doc Gallows beat Ethan Paige to set up Good Brothers versus the North for the Impact Tag Team titles at Turning Point. Su Yung gets disqualified against Deonna Purrazzo to set up a no DQ Knockout Championship match at Turning Point. And speaking of the Knockouts division, we got to bring this up. Kylie Rae announced this week her retirement via her Patreon account, dealing with being unwell due to her mental health. And this finally explains her absence from Bound for Glory, and it kind of puts a bow on what has been a troubling time for her. So we send our best wishes to Kylie Rae, but I gotta ask you guys your thoughts on Kylie Rae calling it a career after this whole issue that she's had. I'll start with you, Louis.
It's obviously sad. It's incredibly sad that this has had to happen. Ultimately, yes, seeing her wrestle would be nice, but she's got to put her health first. And I think that obviously it does prove that we live in a bubble where we go onto Twitter and say we didn't like that match or we think this person that. But I think people just need to realize that if I'm on Twitter and I'm looking up, like if I'm a wrestler and I'm looking up and I see all these negative comments about my match, it is going to have an impact on me. So I just think everyone just be nice to each other. Obviously, we send out I send out my best wishes to Kylie. I'm sure you guys would 100% too, and I hope that whatever she decides to do in the future and whatever she does, I hope she finds happiness and is content with what she's doing, because that's the main thing.
Absolutely. I know that you kind of said similar things on the last episode we had, Miss Krssi Love, but what's your thoughts on her finally calling it a career and no longer a professional wrestler?
Well, we said something was up for her not to just like show up. You just don't like not show up to work. So we obviously said something might have was for her health wise, and we just want her to just be better and just at the end of the day, you can't do your job if your health is not good. So if you're not feeling good or you're not you know 100%, you need to get yourself better, and then maybe it's like a semi-retirement where she just needs to like just get her own self, mind, body, and soul, spirit, all of the above together before she can do this other passion that she had loved. So I send my thoughts and prayers to her, and I hope that everything goes well for her and she gets whatever she needs.
Yeah, sometimes you're not going to get happiness out of this business. I know it's something that gets us a lot of happiness, but it's not always for the performer. So as long as she gets that happiness away from the ring, she just recently got engaged to Isaiah Velasquez. So I hope that she has, a great wedding, that she finds that inner peace and love and happiness outside of the ring, because she deserves it. We've seen with the outpouring of everyone who's worked with her or not worked with her, come across her, just spreading that love on social media, which is something that we don't usually see. So I'm very happy that that's happened, even though she's not here to see it. She's taking time off from social media, but it shows that she was a genuine nice person. So we send all our best wishes and our thoughts and prayers to Kylie Rae, and if this is the end of her career, she had a great career for the short time that she was there.
Yes.
So we have to move on, guys, to our top news story. And our top news story is kind of a good one, where we have to talk about WWE again and their off of television antics with the Twitch ban is put into effect by WWE. Biggest news we were not able to talk about last week was that the WWE's third-party ban came into effect this past week, with some general unhappiness expressed by the WWE roster, mainly by former Divas champion Paige. On her stream last Thursday, Paige went off on an emotional rant, speaking about her frustrations, saying, and I'm gonna try to censor it as best as I can, because there's a lot of things to censor here. I've honestly got to the point where I cannot deal with this company anymore. So now I have to make a very important decision. I am effing tired, man. I broke my effing neck twice for this company. Over effing worked. I broke my effing neck twice for this company. All I wanted was they don't realize that this community isn't just about effing subs. It isn't about that. We built a wonderful community, a wonderful effing family, where this is an escape for a lot of people, including myself. I can't wrestle anymore. I was worked so hard in WWE that I can't wrestle anymore. My neck is effed up. My whole dreams got taken away from me, dude, and I had to have something that fulfilled even a small part of that huge effing void, and that I lost with wrestling. An effing void. I couldn't wrestle anymore. Something I lived, breathed, and effing shit. Wrestling since I was a fetus, dude, and it got ripped away from me. According to PW Insider, WWE talent reportedly tried to change Vince's mind on the subject before the shutdown happened. Several talents met with him to discuss the issue, but since high-profile talents like AJ Styles suspended their streams, it doesn't seem that it's going to be successful. According to Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer, there's a lot of unhappiness backstage with talent over the new policy. He added that there is several people in WWE who are talking to former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang in regards to this, and then also, he did note that this is kind of a bad time to do this, with this being an election season, and it may transpire that the politics have an effect on WWE and this third party ban. Paige has since went on to say that she will continue streaming on Twitch, while Zelina Vega has opened up her own OnlyFans account in response. So I will start with you, Miss Krssi Love. What do you think will be the backlash and response from the WWE roster in regards to this third party ban?
Some people are going to rebel and be like the real retribution and leave, probably.
You think so?
I think so. Especially like you've gotten people to the point where they had like an outlet that, was not tied down. It was something that they had for themselves. Especially like Paige. Paige is not even wrestling. Like she's nowhere near on nothing on TV right now. Like, so this is something for an outlet for her to like see fans and like talk to people and like do things. And for you to take that away is just like, why? Like, it's the whole pandemic. Like, people need some type of means to like do things, and you want to take those things away from people, so that you can pay for them to have like 5 minutes on Zoom.
And they want to take it to make money for themselves and count
Right.
it against their actual pay. Louis, I'll go to you. Do you think that there's going to be any like political response with Andrew Yang and a potential, change with the election that is still ongoing here in the States? So do you think that's going to have any effect on WWE and their third party ban?
I think if Biden gets in, and obviously I'm not sure when no one basically knows when this result is going to come through, so it could be by the time this goes out that you guys know. But I think if Biden wins and Andrew Yang gets on the cabinet, we could be seeing some
nice changes.
I don't know about, but potentially. I don't know whether the changes will be huge, but
Right.
I think there will be some sort of like WWE may allow people to stream on Twitch. I think we probably won't have like a massive independent contractor thing, where the whole, in terms of WWE realize, oh crap, like we can't have our wrestlers as independent contractors. But I think we could start seeing people like able to stream on Twitch, maybe along those lines. I mean, it all depends on, I think, a lot of the election results, because if Trump gets in again, there's no chance. there is no chance that anything good anything sort of positive for WWE talent would come of it. Because I mean, Linda McMahon's a big donator to Trump, so I can't see him basically going against her. So
it's going to be very interesting times. What do you guys think about Paige continuing to stream? Do you think there's going to be any type of response from WWE in regards to her continuing on Twitch, especially if she's going to be vocal against WWE? Because you gotta think that guys like AJ Styles kind of telling behind the scenes stuff on Twitch were part of the reason why WWE looked into this whole thing. What about you, Louis?
I mean, good for Paige. Like, good for her. She has had such a rough go of it over the past couple of years, with obviously the leaks, then having to retire, and then coming back, and then having to retire. I think it's like she doesn't have that interaction on the road with talent. Not even that with like, I know it's crap, the Thunderdome, but at least you feel like you're sort of there with people to an extent. Like, she is like obviously having to stay in a lot of the time. She mentioned that this is a massive outlet for her, and she can't do that. I'm surprised it even applied to her. So I presume she's still on a Superstars contract.
Yeah.
But I hope that nothing comes of it from her. I hope WWE realise, hey, listen, she might be on a Superstars contract, but she is not a wrestler anymore. She is like a Mick Foley who has been plugging his cameo. She is like that kind of person who still has ties to the company, but isn't a on-screen character. So yeah, I mean, what can you do? What can you do? But I mean, good for her, and I hope I hope nothing sort of negative comes out of it.
Yeah.
I would hope so, because she's been through so much, and I think that just poured out during the whole stream. I mean, it's probably not the best place to pour it out in WWE's mind, but I mean, it makes for great topics for us to discuss on podcasts like this, so I enjoyed it.
I had a good news writing session after her Twitch stream. Although it's never nice to see anyone upset, I could get a few headlines out of that. But I mean, more than anything, I hope she's alright, because it can't be easy for her and anyone involved. I feel bad for the talent. Like, I feel bad for the talent.
And they've been through enough. They're dealing with the whole pandemic. They're entertaining us while, it's not the best time for them to even be performing, and then they have to deal with this whole nonsense. So not only is it an election season, and that's a terrible move for it to happen at this time, but during a whole global pandemic, you got to feel for them when they're not making that live event money, and this is another source of income for them. WWE just wants to snatch it away. It's not the best look for the company in general.
Definitely.
So I think we can mark it right there for Louis. I know you are a busy man. I know you got to get on another podcast, but we thank you for coming on here on Tru Heel Heat. You completed our Wrestling Daily Infinity Gauntlet, sir. And I know you are a busy man. You probably got a bunch of interviews on tap. I know you're gonna be on Wrestling Sheets podcast as well. But anything you would like to plug on your social media or anything else for our fans watching?
Well, I mean, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. You guys do some great stuff and are criminally, I guess, undervalued in the wrestling community. So obviously, for everyone out here, that's watching you guys, you got a good set of fans. So just follow me on Twitter at the Louis Dangle. I'm part of Wrestling Daily, so do that twice a week, 3 times a week for a pay-per-view. And I've interviewed FTR this week, so that's gone out on the WrestleTalk channel. And yeah, that was a really good interview. They said that they weren't actually overly happy with the build to their Full Gear match.
Aww.
So, and I guess that was kind of refreshing to hear that us fans aren't going a little bit crazy, because I was one of the people that was like, hey, the build's been good, but
not great.
Yeah, so if you guys obviously just head on over to there, Wrestle2, that's where you can find the majority of the stuff I do, and obviously with you as well on Wrestling Daily on Wednesdays, which is a great show. Even as a busy person, I still find time in the week to make sure I watch your show and Stephanie's show of the Wrestling Daily, because they are more often than not incredibly entertaining.
Absolutely. We bring the goods 4 times a week, 5 times on a pay-per-view. And I got to ask you very quickly, because you were the man talking to FDR. And I think that through, it's like telephone when it comes to headlines in wrestling media. But do you describe FTR's frustration with just the storyline or AEW? Because I think that through the telephone line, it's been misconstrued and said, "Oh, FTR is complaining about another company." When I really feel when I watched your interview, which you did a great job doing, it just seemed like they were just frustrated that they didn't get enough time for this storyline.
I guess it's a combination of the two. They are frustrated with the build, but the people booking the shows are FTR, are AEW, so I can understand why people would say, "Oh, FTR frustrated with AEW," because they are the ones booking the shows. So I could understand the link there. But yeah, listen, I think that what they understand that fans haven't been overly happy, and it probably isn't. They dreamt about this for 4 years, so I think regardless of what the build was, there were probably aspects of it that weren't what they had mulled over in their heads. But I think regardless, this match is going to be so good. I can't wait for it. I know people are talking about Kingston and Moxley and Omega and Paige, but this is the one that I can't wait to see. I think when you see those two teams in the ring, after all the history they've got together, it's going to be incredible.
What is your match of the night? What do you think?
I think this will be match of the night.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a massive FTR fan, so I'm always going to say them.
Okay.
I think the show's stacked, and the fact so many people have a different match of the night.
That's what's going to make it great. Absolutely. It's going to be top-notch stuff at Full Gear. And check out Louis on all his social media, on the Wrestle2 YouTube channel, as well as WrestleTalk. If you like to read articles, he does great articles as well, and he's always got his exclusives. You are one of the best in wrestling media, sir, so we thank you for taking the time to be on Tru Heel Heat.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys for having me on and your very kind words.
All right, we have to move on, and Louis is out, and we welcome in our resident Tru Heel alcoholic himself, Top Guy JJ. Welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. Woo! Jumping in at the you got to jump in at the high point of the show. We are about to get real gritty right now. Hey, boo.
Hey, hon, how are
Yo,
you?
what's up with yo? Come on, yo, you're all right. You know what? When you make it big time, just make sure that I get a personal text, at least a card. Just remembering that you got people making accounts by you now. I was like, holy shit, you got like 17 new accounts. Oh, you got it, boo
I'm
boo.
so annoyed by it. Oh,
I
so
thought
annoyed.
I was
Yeah.
like annoyed
Oh,
by getting
boy.
weird messages and shit. I don't get accounts created. Jesus, that's some effort.
And the stuff is still live. If anyone is watching, please go on there and shut it down. Shut it
Yeah,
down. I don't know why IG still has that live. Like I'm about to call corporate or send an email to someone because this is ridiculous. They say report the stuff and the stuff is still up there.
yeah, I reported
IG
that shit
lets
immediately.
stuff get away all the
Yeah,
time.
Oh,
that's ridiculous, yo. Like, come on, man. Like, people do better, yo. Like, is this really what you have in your free time? Is to sit there and mock and copy other people? Like, damn, at least wait till Krssi gets into the business. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like wait till we get our foots in the door. You know?
so if your friend requests me, I'm sorry, you have to wait until I approve it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a fact.
Gotta wait in line. But we gotta move into, of course, wrestling. That's what we're here for. And our next top news story is two huge documentaries scheduled for WWE on Netflix. We spoke about on Tru Heel Heat 98. We broke the news as it came in that WWE and Bill Simmons will be teaming up for a docu-series centered on the life and times of Vince McMahon. This week, in an appearance on the Chris Van Vliet show on YouTube, Lillian Garcia revealed that she was approached by WWE about being featured in a documentary on Stone Cold Steve Austin. According to Garcia, the producers from The Last Dance, the critically acclaimed 10-part series on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, are the ones in charge of the Austin documentary. Garcia said, WWE contacted me and they said the producers from The Last Dance are going to reach out to you. They want you to do their documentary, to be in their documentary. It's crazy because when I got the message, I was literally just watching the Last Dance documentary. I said, Jake, I'm literally watching your documentary right now. This is amazing. I come to find out that they want to do a documentary for Stone Cold Steve Austin and is coming out next year. These two docuseries are reportedly scheduled to be streamed on Netflix, as I said before. What are your guys' thoughts on a potential Vince McMahon documentary, and which part would you most be interested in them covering? We will start with you, Top Guy JJ.
Oh wow, a Vince McMahon documentary. I mean, I think I would kind of be interested in what goes through his mind with future planning, booking, and decisions financially. Because obviously he's done a lot in this world that works. So
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of tap into the mind of somebody that is such, honestly, he's a visionary. To tap into kind of what his process is still on a daily basis, even at almost 75 years old, basically. I think it would be very interesting to see, in a sense, like what goes through this man's mind, like what is his thought process, like, and when it comes to him dealing with disgruntled talent, when it comes to him taking backlash, when it comes to him having to deal with the everyday life, because us on even on Tru Heel Heat, one of the we have a lot of fun, we talk a lot of shit, but he deals with a lot of real life scrutiny. So how does he handle all of that? And that would be really kind of interesting to see how he takes that all in and turns that into positive influence to keep his company going.
How about you, Miss Krssi Love? Which part? It's gonna be more, I think, like a retrospective. I don't suspect Vince McMahon to be forthcoming when it comes to like what's his mind state right now. I think maybe we would get more introspective on what was his mind state in certain parts of his time in professional wrestling. Because if you know anything about Vince McMahon, he's not going to be forthcoming with what's going to be his mind state for now, especially at 75.
I think I'm just saying that documentaries. I listen. I would be interested in that too. But documentaries, everything is fair game. So if he's if he's open to share some of that
Not
stuff.
with Vince McMahon, and WWE is working with Bill Simmons. It's not Bill Simmons. It's different from the Stone Cold documentary. Stone Cold documentary are going to be by the producers of The Last Dance. Bill Simmons is like a co-producer with WWE for the Vince McMahon documentary. That's why it's a little bit different on what we're going to get from those two documentaries.
So it's a little bit fluffed up. It's a little bit caked up.
That's why I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to the Vince McMahon documentary, because we all know WWE likes to have revisionist
So
history.
we're not getting it raw then. That means we're not getting it raw. Like The Last Dance, we got it raw. Like even when the Bulls teams were going through their hardships while winning, like we saw what they were going through while being champions.
Yeah,
Like,
but even with the Last Dance, it was more Michael Jordan. What was your mind state in this period of your career? They didn't talk to Michael Jordan about what was his mind state at his stage now, being, you know, a mogul and entrepreneur. They talked about what was your mind state in 1998 going into your last season. What was your mind state in 1992 trying to win your first championship?
What was your mind state when you stopped Isaiah Thomas from going to the Dream Team?
Exactly. It wasn't about what's your mind state now. It's about what was your mind state at that period. That's what I was saying. It's kind of different what you would be looking for in that regard.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a little different dynamic too, man, because obviously Jordan has two careers. He has a career as an owner. He has a career as a player. So Vince McMahon's career has been strictly owner.
Yeah.
So I think that's the kind of where I was just tapping into my curiosity with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So how about the Stone Cold documentary, Miss Krssi Love? What's your thoughts on the potentially the Last Dance producers being in charge of the Stone Cold doc? And do you consider Stone Cold Steve Austin to be the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling?
Ooh.
Damn. Oh, damn.
Wow.
Oh, you got that one, boo-boo. Go ahead.
Okay, well, okay. I'm excited about the docuseries. Especially if it's done how The Last Dance was done, which was superb, which I just actually finished, I want to say yesterday. I'm very excited to see what it is that they're going to do. Like, is it going to be like from beginning to end? Is it just going to be like from a particular like portion of when, like, you know how they did The Last Dance is from here to here? Are they going to do like his whole career? Or are they going to just do like from the Attitude Era to like the end? Like,
no, it's going to be on his whole career. That's why I said like I had to kind of structure it. Like The Last Dance is going to focus on his entire career. It's not going to focus on Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's going to focus on Steve Williams' wrestling career.
Interesting. I'm still watching it, especially, you know, Netflix. I'm paying for it. I'm gonna watch it. Now, is he the Michael Jordan of the WWE? That is
a professional
wrestling.
Professional wrestling. Ooh, I would have to say no. I don't think he is.
Okay.
I don't think he is.
JJ, who would you say is the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling?
That's hard. That's hard. If I had to think about something off the top of my head, like I would have to say Ric Flair. And that like being is because he was the most polarizing and the winningest wrestler in the history of the business.
And still imitated today.
So the fact that he was both polarizing and a mega winner. Like, he had the whole package, and he was obviously a superb wrestler, legendary character. He had it all. Like, he can be argued as the GOAT personified. Like, it was kind of a toss-up to think about between him and, would sound kind of biased, like John Cena even. Just because of how polarizing and how much winning they did. So when it...
I can agree with the Ric Flair. The Ric Flair, that's a good a good shout. I think the best comparison I can give to Michael Jordan and Stone Cold Steve Austin was Stone Cold was the biggest superstar at the biggest time in professional wrestling, just like Michael Jordan was the biggest athlete in the biggest time in basketball history. So I think that's where the comparison comes in. But if I'm gonna call him I wouldn't call him the GOAT. I would say the GOAT conversation goes more for Ric Flair, and it also plays in line with my other comparison that I've done in the the past that Shawn Michaels is Kobe Bryant. Because Shawn Michaels had two different parts of his career. It's like Kobe had the number 8 career and the number 24 career. So kind of works better because they were kind of how Kobe saw Michael Jordan is the same way how Shawn Michaels saw Ric Flair.
Yes. Good job, guys. Love it.
And this is not obviously a knock on Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's really just more of it took Stone Cold Steve Austin too many years to become as great as he became, and it didn't last long enough.
Yeah.
So his run started essentially in 1996, going into 97, and he became the greatest thing ever in 1998. Yeah. And it really only lasted like 3 years. Yeah. So for it not to have lasted that long, you can't be called the GOAT of the history of the business.
Right.
Off of basically, Stone Cold Steve Austin to me is the Gale Sayers of professional wrestling. If anybody understands the sport of football and knows who Gale Sayers is, how his career was dramatically cut short, but we knew how great that man was going to be, that's to me what Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good shout there. Final question for you guys before we move on. What do you think will be the more successful or more critically acclaimed documentary, the Vince McMahon or Stone Cold Steve Austin? Or which one are you most excited for is a better question. Krssi Love?
I would say the Stone Cold one because they're gonna give it to us raw. It's not gonna be like fluffed up and like that one's gonna give us the straightforward. They're not gonna like give us any crap. The other one, Vince got to say it on what's going to happen, so he probably want them to say, well, no, he was a great guy. No, say he's an awesome guy. Like, things like that, you know?
I feel you. JJ?
I completely agree. Stone Cold, no matter what, because one, Stone Cold is the guy that we were fans of. He's the athlete. He's the journeyman that became the greatest thing since sliced bread. And his is not going to be completely narrated by him.
I agree but it's both going to be very exciting to watch unfold for sure.
For sure, duh. I will still critique the other one.
Of course. So we got to move on to week 53 of the Wednesday Night War. This is some of your guys' favorite time of the show where we break down WWE, NXT, and AEW Dynamite and let you know what we thought was the better show for the week. We, of course, break down both shows and let you know the ratings. And, of course, if you don't like our opinions, you can watch our good brothers, Chris G, along with Mary Jane, and the connoisseur of war reporting, Romeo Anthony Colon, on Wednesday Night Warriors as they break down both shows. Or if you just like AEW, you could check out All Elite Recap with Marcus Cash and Jimmy Macaram, and they break down and have unique opinions on AEW Dynamite. But it is about that time. Miss Krssi Love, you want to hit the drums? So, for week 53 of the Wednesday Night War, I have to start off by saying both shows did not rank in the top 50 in the 18 to 49 key demo.
The count. For the
exactly. The election results is the big ratings draw for this week, but WWE NXT comes in with 610,000 viewers to AEW Dynamite with 717,000 viewers. AEW Dynamite ranked 56 in the 18 to 49 key demo, while NXT ranked 68, and AEW Dynamite was actually the number 2 non-new show in the 18 to 49 key demo on Wednesday night, behind Real Housewives of the OC. So they
did last night. Sorry, friends.
Yeah, you know. But number 2, that's still good for not.
That's great. Yeah.
When the
election.
Exactly, when the United States is burning in this election. WWE NXT had Tommaso Ciampa defeating Velveteen Dream in the main event. We also had Dakota Kai pull off an upset, in my opinion, over Moon with a distraction from Raquel Gonzalez. Toni Storm defeated Shotzi Blackheart after a distraction from Candice LeRae, who ran down Shotzi's tank after the match, and Shotzi cried. Shotzi, it was horrifying, her scream. I'm still haunted by it today. Kushida defeated Cameron Grimes after Grimes is scared of last week's zombie referee. The Kings of NXT, as they will be known, that is the group captained by Pat McAfee, along with Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oni Lorcan. They attacked Killian Dane, Drake Maverick, and Everrise, and then threw the Undisputed Era's banner in the trash, lighting it on fire. And they also smashed Dane's head in a car door. AEW Dynamite, it was the go-home show for AEW Full Gear this Saturday. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston had a brilliant promo exchange during their face-to-face to build up their Full Gear I Quit match. We got a fantastic, absolutely superb Paige versus Omega video package set to Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone by Cinderella, the 80s hair band. And we also had sit-down interviews with both Paige and Omega, which were really good as well. The Young Bucks defeated Private Party in a solid match. Then FTR attacked them, but Paige and Omega made the save. MJF and Wardlow defeated Sammy Guevara and Ortiz, and after the match, MJF rushed Chris Jericho, showing he is crazy enough to be in the inner circle, which Chris Jericho's shot a smile at for the attack. Pac made his return in a very unique, very, very awesome, dope promo package, talking about being locked up in captivity with multiple packs. There was a lot of packs. And then we had Cody and Gun Club defeat Dark Order, and then Cody cut a promo on Darby Allin to end the show. And then after the show, he announced that he is once again going to be known as Cody Rhodes, and we'll talk about the news notes behind that. That was after the show for Dynamite. So for week 53, we will start with you, Top Guy JJ. What was the better show, AEW Dynamite or WWE NXT?
I think AEW heard me last week, man, because they came back and gave me something to please my eyes with. Both shows, NXT had, I feel like NXT had a really good first hour and then just tailed off to me. That main event, any main event that has a Velveteen Dream in it is not going to do me any good. Like, it's not going to do me any good. Like,
damn.
The best thing about that entire match to me was Tommaso Ciampa's ring entrance gear.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it was all right. I mean, Velveteen sold the shit out of himself for Ciampa, which, you know, he's been doing some better selling lately. But AEW had shown they had a go-home show. This was a go-home show to a pay-per-view, and they really delivered a go-home show to a pay-per-view, which they did not do for All Out.
Yep, exactly.
This was a go-home show, and I really believe AEW knocked this shit out the park. And somehow, they attempted to even salvage the FTR Young Bucks build with a much, much better build promotion into this match, because that shit that they did last week was horrible. This was so much better. They should have just stuck to the video packages instead of the live interviews. Top to bottom, I felt like I enjoyed AEW for pretty much the majority of the show. Thank God the ladies got a little bit of love, and thank God Vicky Guerrero called Brandy bullshit, chief bullshit officer. I was so happy seeing that. I'm giving it to AEW, and AEW to me was by far the better show of the week. And the best thing I have seen, honestly, this was the best promo to me all year. That Eddie Kingston and Moxley interaction was one of the greatest things I have ever seen in my fucking life. That shit felt like my brother was fighting for his family. Like, they have chemistry that I never knew two wrestlers could have this quickly. Mm-hmm. I never knew that this was possible for two people to have this real feeling of a chemistry. And I could go on and on about how that shit made me gush. Like, I literally just said, wow. Eddie Kingston deserves to at least get his hands on a championship title during his run in AEW. It won't be this one, but he needs to get his hands on some gold, because Eddie Kingston is fucking delivering, yo.
Krssi Love, NXT or AEW this week?
I think AEW must have heard all of us last week, giving them no shine. I mean, it wasn't a bad show, but this was a go home show. This was better than the other go home show was All Out.
Yeah.
This is how you do a go home show. NXT was great. It was, it just wasn't what AEW was giving us last night, unfortunately. I'm going with AEW. I had to explain to my husband who Hangman Page is. He's like, yo, dude has a whole drink in his hand. I was like, oh yeah. And the drink is not going to spill either. And then when he saw the video pack, he was like, yo. And then he thinks that Omega and Hangman are related. I told him they're not, but he thinks that they are. He said, they look just alike though. I was like, but they were not related. But yeah, mine is going to AEW. What a great go home show. Promos, Vicky Guerrero calling out Brandy on her BS. Damn, did Nyla Rose have to kill Homegirl like that though? Like, I mean, wow. I mean, we asked for women to be on the show, but Jesus,
loved it.
Not to kill people like that. And then
loved it.
She's just like, and then they even have exchange. Like it was very, very well done.
Hey, shout outs to Red Velvet for being on our YouTube channel, and then she's on Dynamite, even though she had to get killed by Nyla Rose. It's okay. It's okay. We still rooting for you.
And like you said, the package with Kingston and Moxley was great. The whole exchange between MJF and Jericho, great. The whole show, awesome. And shout out to Cody for getting his shine at the end of the show. Wasn't his hair black the other day though?
He changed it after the dog collar match.
As soon as he won the title back.
The dog collar match was like he just had it for that feud.
Got it. I like the dark, but go ahead, finish.
I have to make it unanimous. AEW Dynamite was definitely the better show this week. NXT was strong, most specifically the Kings of NXT. I hate the name. If they were just the Kings or something else, I would go for it. But the Kings of NXT is just
I'm not a Pat McAfee fan.
I'm a Pat McAfee fan. I don't care what you guys say. This guy is one of the best promos in professional wrestling for 2020. He's top 10. He is top 10, and he is an awesome heel. He just knows what to say to get under the skin of the fans, and you guys not liking him is just further proof that he is doing his job. He's doing his job. He's not.
I like the group. I like the whole setup. I'm loving me some Pete Dunne.
I like Pete Dunne. I like Pete Dunne in this heel role as well, and this group just works for me. I enjoyed a lot of the wrestling. I think they had a very strong night when it came to wrestling, especially the ladies matches. Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon was a very solid.
Great. I was surprised that Amber, got squashed, son.
Yeah. I didn't think she got squashed. That's a bad term.
Music to SP's ears seeing her lose so early.
I was pleased by the result, but there was a lot of.
The match was great though.
The matches were solid, but I felt like all the matches had WWE main roster finishes. You had the distraction finish with Dakota and Ember. You had the distraction finish with Shotzi and Tony. You had the weird finish with Cameron Grimes and Kushida. All those matches were really strong in the ring, but the finishes kind of let it down. That's why I did prefer the main event's finish, because at least it was decisive. And Tommaso Ciampa, even though I was very confused on when the hell did Tommaso Ciampa turn babyface? That's a question for another time. I'll leave that for the Wednesday.
Ciampa's been a face for a minute, bro.
No, he turned heel when he attacked Jake Atlas when he returned. That was a heel turn, and then out of nowhere, he was fighting Kushida, and just because Velveteen Dream interfered in that match, now he's back to babyface. It was very, very confusing.
I was confused that they were like, okay, yeah, he interfered in the match that the other ones had. I was like, oh, so they're fighting again? I was like, I didn't understand the main event. I really didn't get it.
To each his own on there, but AEW.
His alpha was superb though. His alpha was. I was like, damn, why we ain't have that?
He was supposed to be feuding with Kushida, and just because Velveteen Dream interfered, he turned babyface. That's how it seems. That's how it happened. That's how it happened on TV. He was definitely a heel. But AEW Dynamite was definitely the strongest show. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston had one of the best promos of the entire year. by far the best promo exchange of the entire year. Their face-to-face was so intense, was so real and palpable, and it just felt like a real argument, a real conversation. They were talking over each other, they were getting in each other's face. And what they've done over the last 4 weeks for a match that we saw a clean finish for. This is the very best AEW World Title build-up that I've seen in the 2 years that AEW has been in existence, but it is not the best built feud. It's not the greatest built feud in AEW history. That, my friends, is Hangman Page and Kenny Omega.
Facts.
The sit down promos with Omega being very overconfident, and then JR I don't give a lot of praise for because I think that he's lost it on commentary, but when it comes to sit down interviews, he brings the goods, and he brought the goods in that sit down interview with Hangman Page. Just him saying moderation, my friend, moderation, my kid. They were just excellent, and him talking about Hangman just pounding the drinks and being nervous. He asks questions that us, the viewers, probably were asking at home, and he just excellently just drove along that whole storyline. And that video package with the Cinderella playing in the background was just beautiful. It was emotional. Even if you didn't follow the past year of this build-up, we built this match up for 10 months. 10 months straight up into this matchup. Even if you missed it all, if you just watched the video package, you would get the whole feud. And they definitely did a great job rehabilitating Young Bucks versus FTR. MJF and Chris Jericho had a solid final build. The Pac promo was awesome. It was dope. The only missteps I would say is they probably could have put more focus on Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose. They probably needed, I think they deserved more time for this because they had a great match at Double or Nothing. I think they're going to have a great match at Full Gear. I just would have liked a little bit more build for them, especially on this show. And I think that Cody and the Gun Club versus Dark Order was misplaced in the main event. The main event segment should have been the Moxley Kingston face-to-face, and if not should have been Young Bucks versus Private Party in the main event, because that gave you the final build for what's probably going to be the best two matches on the show, with Young Bucks versus FTR and Paige versus Omega. But other than that, definitely it was the better show this week. So wait and see how Romeo explains that NXT is the better show in his convoluted way.
It's laughable, man. It's really laughable, man. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, listen.
NXT.
And we are not impartial on here. We're not impartial on here. Like, we damn near gave NXT a slam dunk last week. Like, when NXT delivers, they get props. But when AEW delivers, give them they fucking props. And this week, they fucking delivered to me their best go home show for a pay-per-view all year.
And we will see who is the better show next week when on Tru Heel Heat 100 for our Wednesday Night War segment. We will have the Wednesday Night Warriors joining us as Chris G and Romeo, so we can tell Romeo how we feel about his opinion to his face on Tru Heel Heat 100. But we got to get through the rest of the news before we give our preview and predictions for Full Gear and Power Struggle this Saturday. Heel by Nature reports that WWE canceled their trademark on the Cody Rhodes name after Cody canceled his trademark for Slamboree and the Match Beyond. So that's how Cody got his last name back. So very happy for Cody for finally getting his name.
So once he didn't get Slamboree and what else?
Slamboree and the Match Beyond for the War Games. That's what they call War Games, the Match Beyond. He had a trademark for that. He canceled that, so they gave him his name back.
It's like slavery almost.
Yeah, basically, you give us something, we'll give you something back. The WrestleVotes Twitter account had an update with new details on the location WWE is searching for the 2021 Royal Rumble event. According to the latest update, WWE is looking for a different feel in terms of presentation for the event. The tweet read, "Big day for voting." So this was on Tuesday. Go vote, but this is WrestleVotes. So regardless of the next location for the Thunderdome, it is expected to last into February. However, WWE is looking on something different for the Royal Rumble event. They want fans, and even if it's just for that one show. Fightful Select reports that there was a lot of frustration backstage regarding how NXT handled the COVID-19 protocols entering the Halloween Havoc event last week. This comes after there was a lot of rumors surrounding a potential COVID-19 outbreak at the Performance Center, and they also confirmed that Indy Hartwell was the latest that was the talent that was held off from the taping following the positive test from that Friday that there was a positive test at the Performance Center. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, WWE officials view Bray Wyatt and his new sidekick Alexa Bliss as babyfaces on the Raw roster, despite some of the heel tendencies and actions of the duo. Speaking of documentaries, as we spoke about earlier, A&E has already announced a partnership with WWE to produce documentaries featuring Steve Austin, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, and Booker T, with production starting on the Austin documentary back in July. They also have an Ultimate Warrior and Bret Hart documentary in mind as well. WWE has officially changed the name of Matt Riddle to Riddle on their website.
Oh my God!
Yes.
It even more.
They just don't know how to not put their hands on something. Like,
I'm not worried about it. You know why? Because he'll have his name just like Ali got his name back too. Oh, I'm sorry, Mustafa Ali. Excuse
Hey,
me.
you gotta say his name, Mike. It's Mustafa. It's Mustafa. Yes,
Ali.
he said say it right or don't say it at all.
Okay.
I mean, apparently we won't be saying that shit at all if they keep this shit going with this garbage.
Hey,
That too.
according to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, WWE didn't want to have people Google Matt Riddle and find the details of the lawsuit against him and WWE. As we previously discussed on Tru Heel Heat, Candy Cartwright is suing over an alleged case of sexual assault against Riddle, and the decision to make the change was made this past week. Heel by Nature reported that during a behind-the-scenes look at the WWE Thunderdome, it was revealed a list of banned images for the interactive fan experience, including the logos for AEW, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as stars like Jon Moxley, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Enzo Amore, and CM Punk, among others. And then finally, WWE News SmackDown ratings are back on Fox, and this past week they were up to 2.286 million viewers, while Raw drew 1.656 million viewers with a record low third hour rating of 1.455 million. Ouch.
Yo, SmackDown has been kicking Raw's ass in the ratings for like how long now?
Ever since it went to Fox.
Like, good lord, Raw is so
On a Friday at that,
like Raw is so
Friday-
sad.
It's gone down a very steep road. We were talking about that earlier with the Raw putting the bar so low that even this week was better than most weeks, but it was still a bad show. AEW news: AEW pulled Scorpio Sky from this week's Dynamite due to coming in contact with a COVID positive person in the past 2 weeks. His match with Shawn Spears has been rescheduled. You have to give AEW a lot of credit for being so transparent with removing talent if they're come into contact with someone positive, so I want to give AEW credit for that one. In very exciting news, AEW has started an AEW game social media and have a huge announcement scheduled in regards to a video game reportedly for this coming Tuesday. Top Guy JJ, are you getting the AEW video game when it comes out?
Depends on the publisher. I've been saying that shit consistently. If that shit is from 2K Games, fuck no. If it's from THQ, I'm bored.
I doubt
Depends
it's
on
for
the
2K.
publisher. It depends on the publisher.
You want to like look at like the graphics real quickly, like just to see like the whole setup.
Yeah, to me that depends on the publisher. Like the publisher and the creator of the game is gonna influence my decision.
Gotcha.
If anybody that plays games knows what I mean, like there's like Activision, there's Ubisoft, there's like Square Enix, there's a lot of companies that can bid for this game. It has to be a place that has done this type of game before, not some old first timer. It won't come out right.
AEW has signed the team of the Acclaimed, which is Platinum Maskcaster and one of my favorites, the first ever Battle Club Pro franchise champion, the five-tool player Anthony Bowens. Fightful Select reported that WWE reportedly were looking to sign Bowens themselves, but AEW swooped in. We want to congratulate Anthony, who has been a stalwart for Battle Club Pro. He recently relinquished the Battle Club Pro franchise championship ahead of being signed by AEW, so congrats to him. In an interview with PW Insider, Tony Khan announced that he has made additions to the AEW medical team and protocol procedures following recent incidents in the ring with Alex Reynolds and Matt Hardy, including Chris Nowinski being present at AEW Full Gear this Saturday. Chris Nowinski is a specialist on neurology. He was a part of the documentary for Chris Benoit during the Dark Side of the Ring series, so I know he's going to be on hand, so hopefully we don't have any incidents like we had at All Out. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the idea for Le Dinner Debonair was actually from the mind of MJF, so MJF in some creative control, and it paid off there. New Japan Pro Wrestling News: New Japan announced the participants for the Best of the Super Juniors 27 tournament starting on November 15th. Taiji Ishimori, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, El Desperado, and Kanemaru, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Hiromu Takahashi, who won it in 2018, Rikuchi Taguchi, who won in 2012, Master Yato, who will be making his debut, Sho of Roppongi 3K, Robbie Eagles, Bushi, and Dookie will all be in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. This will be a 10-man single block tournament, with the two highest point getters being in the finals to decide who will verse the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion at Wrestle Kingdom. But we will also see the one night only Super J Cup 2020, which will take place in the United States, and this will be on December 12th. The 8 participants in this one is very interesting, and in my eyes, better than the lineup for the Best of the Super Juniors, as we're going to see El Fantasmo of the Bullet Club, who won the 2019 tournament, Clark Connors, who won the Lions Break Crown tournament on New Japan Strong, TJP, who is a freelancer, considered a freelancer, not of any promotion, ACH in his first Super J Cup, Blake Christian of GCW, Chris Bay of Impact Wrestling, Ray Horace of ROH, and finally making his first debut in New Japan and on the Super J Cup, Lio Rush. This lineup is stacked, and Impact Wrestling working with New Japan is a lot bigger than a lot of people are making it out to be, and seems like a forbidden door has opened, but not the one we were expecting, with Impact working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. What do you guys think?
I think that's phenomenal.
Absolutely. Don Callis putting in that work. ROH Pure title tournament finished this past week with Jonathan Gresham defeating Tracy Williams to win the ROH Pure title, and he formed the foundation stable with Jay Lethal and Tracy Williams himself. We will have full coverage of the tournament on Review of Honor with Stat King and Ness, which kicked off this week. Check it out. These guys did a great debut edition of Review of Honor, recapping the entire first round. They're going to recap the second round, the semifinals, and the finals on Review of Honor, so stay tuned for that. Impact Wrestling News: Fightful Select reports that Bound for Glory was EC3's last date with Impact Wrestling for now, as he has finished up his run with the company and he has now moved on to Ring of Honor. I love the fact that EC3 is kind of making a world tour and being a traveling professional wrestler. It shows a lot of growth with him. Other wrestling news: MLW officially announced ACH, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Laredo Kid, and Lio Rush for their restart, which will kick off on November 18th. That's going to be on Being Sports and Fubu Sports. And then finally, Thunder Rosa, who we had on Tru Heel's BTR, she confirmed in another recent interview that she is signed with NWA until 2021 and wants to go to a company that she can continue to work with her new promotion, which We Are the the sponsors for Mission Pro Wrestling as well as her MMA career. So she says that WWE is seemingly out of the question due to that. So that kind of confirms all that news that came out last week with Thunder Rosa potentially
Thank
going
God.
to WWE. Yes. I agree
Thank
with
God.
that. Thank God there. So finally, we have made it to our previews and prediction time, guys. This weekend, this Saturday, two huge shows, kind of like the two final huge shows of 2020, as we're going to see New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle as well as AEW Full Gear. We're going to start with Power Struggle, which will be on Saturday morning. We're going to go from the bottom of the card to the top for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2020 title, and it's going to be a no corner pads match because of the champion himself, Toru Yano, will defend against Zack Sabre Jr. These two men met in the G1 climax with Zack Sabre Jr. getting the victory over Yano. If you know Yano, he has a history of removing the corner pads, so we won't see the traditional start to Yano matches of him removing the corner pads because there's not going to be any corner pads. It's going to be all exposed turnbuckles in this matchup. So who do you think wins? ZSJ versus Yano. I'll start with you, Miss Krssi Love.
I'm going Yano.
Going with Yano in this one, top guy JJ.
This is definitely not going to be a standard wrestling match. I'm definitely going with Yano on this one. He's got the full-blown advantage. ZSJ doesn't know how to do anything other than wrestle.
Good point. I'm going to agree with you guys. I'm making unanimous in going with Yano in this one. Never Openweight Championship is on the line. This one will be, in my opinion, yes, I am giving it once again, certified banger extreme. For the Never Openweight Championship is going to be Minoru Suzuki defending the title against Shingo Takagi. These two have had two of the hardest hitting matches of the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling at Summer Struggle, where Suzuki defeated Shingo, in the finals of the A block where Shingo defeated Suzuki. So who do you think wins this third and final matchup of 2020, Shingo versus Suzuki? I'll start with you, JJ.
I'm going to go Suzuki to pull this out. I'm going to go Suzuki.
Krssi Love.
They're both 1-1.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go like JJ Suzuki.
I'm going to go different here, and I'm going to go with Shingo to win this one and win back the Never Openweight Championship. Next up, we got...
He ain't going to be allowed to experience the win anyway.
Probably not, but he will survive. In a grudge match is going to be Kazuchika Okada going one-on-one with the Great Okan. The Great Okan was the man who sided with Will Ospreay and cost Kazuchika Okada the win of the A block in the G1 climax. And Will Ospreay has said that Okada has to get through Great Okan to get his shot at another match against Will Ospreay. So who do you think wins here, Great Okan or Okada? I will call it first, and I will say Okada gets the win here. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can drag a good match out of Great Okan, who I haven't seen the best of yet. So, Krssi Love?
I'm going to agree with you, sir, and say Okada.
JJ?
I mean, come on, man. To get another match with Ospreay and Okada, you think Okan is going to stop that? Please. It's clean sweep.
Absolutely. And then we have for the right to challenge contract. This is for the right to challenge the IWGP US champion Jon Moxley. It's going to be Kenta, the owner of the briefcase, going one-on-one with Hiroshi Tanahashi. These two met in the G1 climax with Tanahashi getting the victory. In that match, Kenta actually broke his briefcase over the head of Tanahashi, and during the run, the road to Power Struggle, he once again broke his briefcase over the head of Tanahashi, which he has once again blamed Tanahashi for and not himself for hitting him with. So very interesting storyline with this one. But who do you think wins, Kenta or Tanahashi? JJ?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Kenta. I'm gonna go Kenta here.
Krssi Love?
I was gonna say Okada.
That was the last match. Tanahashi or Kenta?
You said Tanahashi. Oh, I'm sorry, Kenta.
I'm gonna disagree, and I'm gonna go with Tanahashi in this one. And we have our another right to challenge contract match with this time the winner of the G1 Climax 30 and his right to challenge for the dual gold at Wrestle Kingdom with Kota Ibushi defending against Switchblade Jay White. In the G1 Climax, it was Switchblade who defeated Kota Ibushi to earn this opportunity here. Switchblade wants the main event Wrestle Kingdom for the first time. So who wins, Ibushi versus Switchblade? Krssi Love.
Switchblade.
JJ.
Is Ibushi's shot on the line in this match?
Yes.
Fuck. So I'm gonna go with Ibushi to retain here to win. I was kind of hoping that it wasn't on the line, and then Jay White can make a claim to make it a triple threat, which I haven't seen a triple threat happen at Wrestle Kingdom, so I wanted to see something like that, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, I'm going Ibushi to hang on to this.
I'm going to agree with JJ and go with Ibushi to win this one. I want to see Ibushi main event Wrestle Kingdom again. And then finally, we have the IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championships on the line as Tetsuya Naito goes one-on-one with Evil. These two men have been feuding.
Wow.
Have been feuding ever since the return from lockdown for New Japan, with Evil turning his back on LIJ and Naito after he won the New Japan Cup 2020. He then beat Naito for the IWGP Dual Gold at Dominion. Naito won the titles back at Summer Struggle, but then Evil defeated Naito in the G1 Climax to earn this opportunity. Hopefully, this is the end of the feud because they haven't had the best luck when it comes to great matches. They had a good match at Summer Struggle, but other than that, their matches have tended to be a little disappointing. But hopefully this is the end of the feud. But who wins the final matchup between these two? Naito versus Evil. I will start things off and go with Naito. JJ?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree here. I'm gonna agree with going with Naito. I've been riding the Evil bandwagon a little too long, and I think it's time to hop off. I'm gonna go Naito here.
Krssi Love?
Agreed, Naito for the win.
Naito with the sweep for New Japan Power Struggle. Definitely tune in to New Japan World. If you're not able to wake up early on Saturday, you can watch it throughout the weekend. Definitely check that out this weekend on New Japan World. But the big show for this weekend, for this Saturday, is AEW Full Gear. In my opinion, this is the best built card for AEW of 2020, which says a lot because right now, in my opinion, the pay-per-view of the entire year was AEW Revolution in February. So the fact that AEW has stacked this card so much really says a lot to me that they heard the fans who were a little disappointed with All Out. When you guys talked about this Go Home show was much better than the All Out Go Home show, and I think this lineup is so much better than what they gave us at All Out as well. So this one will be very
like the whole like gears, like, you know, scrolling on like people's faces, like the whole background figures is like so good for the whole pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, it's a unique look, definitely.
It's a very, very unique one. I think I like it a lot.
So we're gonna have the buy-in match before the live show. This one is a just added matchup and very interesting, as it's gonna be the NWA Women's World Championship on the line as Serena Deeb defends against this woman that's a new free agent who's no longer with NWA, actually, Allison Kay, the artist formerly known as Sienna in Impact Wrestling. This is someone that I think AEW would be dumb if they weren't thinking about signing, because she is so talented, so hard-hitting in the ring, and knows how to present herself on television during her time in Impact as well as NWA. But this match is definitely going to be a good one. So who you got? Allison Kay versus Serena Deeb. We'll start with you, Krssi Love.
I want to say Serena D.
Serena Deeb successfully defends. Top guy JJ.
Completely concur. Serena Deeb retains. She's got to have a run with this title.
Yeah.
I agree. Serena Deebs deserves a run with this title, and she had a solid match with Leela Kirsch last week on Dynamite, and I think this is going to be another solid contest. This one was moved from the buy-in to the main card, which makes sense because a lot of people were complaining about one of these guys being one of the main events of All Out and now being off the card, but he is on the card. It is going to be Orange Cassidy going one-on-one with John Silver of the Dark Order. It was John Silver who cost Orange Cassidy the lumberjack match last week on AEW Dynamite, costing him the TNT Championship. So Orange Cassidy will look for revenge against 3 of the Dark Order, number 3, not 3 members, 3 of the Dark Order, John Silver, who has been getting over on BTE and been the MVP of BTE, being the elite over the last year. So you got Silver versus Orange. Start with you, JJ.
Oh God, really? This is really a match to pick? Like, come on, man. I mean, like they had to give the whole card is stacked with everybody. Orange just needed an opponent to be on full gear. Orange, man.
Yeah.
Krssi,
Orange.
all orange across the board.
Yep.
We got AEW Women's Championship on the line. This is a rematch from Double or Nothing. It's going to be Hikaru Shida defending against Nyla Rose. Vicky Guerrero said Nyla Rose would not compete until Tony Khan gave her another shot at the AEW Women's Championship, and we got this match right here. This is about 6 months in build, but you wouldn't know it if you watched Dynamite because they didn't get much time on there. So hopefully these ladies can overcome the bad booking and have a great match once again. So you got Shida versus Rhodes 2. Krssi?
I'm going Shida.
JJ?
I'm gonna go with the native beast becoming the 2-time AEW Women's Champion. This comeback feels too powerful to fail. And having Vicky Guerrero in her corner feels like it is just the right timing for a shift because AEW needs a shift in this division.
I gotta agree with JJ here. I've been a big fan of Shida. I feel like she's one of the most consistent performers in all of AEW, male or female. This division does need a shakeup, and Nyla Rose was robbed of an actual reign of the AEW Women's Championship because she won the title just before the pandemic and then lost it immediately after she returned. So I think that she deserves another run, and to become the first ever 2-time champion in AEW history would be a lot for her after already being. She was already the first transgendered woman to win an AEW championship, so she needs to get another first time here. This one has been highly anticipated. MJF can join the Inner Circle if he wins, as it's going to be MJF going one-on-one with Chris Jericho. They've had Le Dinner Debonair. They've had a town hall meeting. These men have gone bar for bars, barbs for barbs, insults for insults, mic to mic, but will we see MJF win by any means necessary? I am going to go first on this one, and I'm going to say that MJF has to win this matchup so we can see more from these two. Who you got, JJ?
I've been so back and forth on this one, man, and I am going to go with Chris Jericho winning this match, but not clean. I believe Chris Jericho was going to win this match because of members of the Inner Circle to extend this a little bit longer. I don't think MJF just gets in this easy. I don't think he gets in this quick.
Krssi Love?
I have to agree with JJ on that one. At first, I was just going to say Jericho winning, but on a dirty finish. However, I definitely feel like this feud needs to go on a little bit longer, and definitely going to pick Chris Jericho.
Alright, we got Elite Deletion. This is going to be from the Hardys compound, as it's going to be Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara finally ending their feud. We had the tragic accident at All Out, which robbed these two men of actually finishing off their feud there, and then Sammy Guevara was the man that attacked Matt Hardy in the back. So we're going to finally end this between these two men. Who you got, Hardy versus Sammy? JJ?
For the love of God, Sammy, end this shit.
Yes, please.
Like, fuck, man. Like, I'm over it, man. I said this last time. I'm over seeing Matt Hardy. I'm just over it. I'm really over it.
So you got Sammy?
Yes, absolutely. All the fucking way.
I'm gonna pick Matt Hardy in this one. Krssi Love.
I want Sammy to finish it. However, since it's going to be at the Maddie at the Hardy compound, I feel like Matt is going to win. So Matt for the finish.
All right. Next up, we got last chance AEW Tag Team Championship matchup. It's going to be FTR versus the Young Bucks. Tully Blanchard is going to be banned from ringside. This has been a very polarizing build-up between these two tag teams, but this has been building in AEW since May when the FTR debuted, but it's been building for over 4 years, ever since FTR as the Revival became one of the best tag teams in professional wrestling in NXT. All the fans have wanted to see FTR versus the Young Bucks. This is old school versus new school of tag team wrestling, tag team psychology, and this is one of the most anticipated tag team matches of the past decade. So who wins this one for the AEW World Tag Team titles? Lose, they will never get another shot at the AEW Tag Team titles. So who you got, FTR or the Young Bucks? Krssi Love?
I'm going with FTR with a dirty finish.
JJ?
I don't see the Cody rule working twice. I don't see it happening for the entire. I don't see the entire elite being exiled from championship opportunities. I'm just dampened by the stipulation. I'm really dampened by the stipulation. It just I in a sense I feel like it became a little bit predictable. I think the Young Bucks in a great back and forth match that will have a lot of suspense in it. I believe the Young Bucks will pull this out and become the AEW Tag Team Champions for the very first time.
Okay.
I agree with JJ. I think the Young Bucks win here. I don't think it's predictable because we did have Cody lose, and that sets up, the Young Bucks to do the same thing. But
I just don't want your prediction to come through with that trio shit, man. I don't want to see no fucking trios titles, man. That shit is whack.
Hey, there's gonna be a trios titles, but I can't see the Young Bucks no longer having another shot at the tag team titles. So I think they have to win here, and then from here, after a great match between these two teams, we can have a series of matches and really build this up as the tag team feud to be remembered that it should be. AEW TNT Championship is on the line, as it's going to be Cody Rhodes defending against Darby Allin. These two men have met 3 times in the past, including Darby Allin's debut in AEW. That match ended in a draw. The 2 other matches on AEW Dynamite, Cody nearly pulled out the victory over Darby Allin, including in the TNT Championship tournament. So who wins this 4th match? Darby Allin versus Cody. Who you got, JJ?
Wow.
Ooh, it's hard.
Wow. I think you might have missed the title holder by 1 spot. I see Darby Allin becoming the new TNT champion. This is going to be a hell of a match. I think this is going to be an underrated match, an undervalued match. I think this match is going to be fantastic. And I think Darby Allin is going to pull a mega upset here.
I think, once I found out that Darby Allin was getting a shot during the Orange Cassidy match, I think my pick changed from Orange winning the title to Darby winning the title. They have to pull the trigger on Darby. He's one of the best homegrown stars they have built up during their 2 years of existence. So I think Darby Allin becomes the TNT champion here. Who you got, Krssi?
I'm going to agree with you and say Darby, finally.
And then finally we have our final 2 matches, our double main event, AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament Finals. It is finally here. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page. These 2 men were the longest reigning champions in all of AEW as AEW Tag Team Champions, members of the Elite together. This has been building ever since Hangman Page lost the finals to determine the first ever AEW World Champion at All Out a year and a half ago. And now he versus his tag team partner, a man that has kind of said that he's a tag team wrestler. He didn't even think he would make it to the finals. He thought Wardlow would make it to the finals over Hangman Page. So who wins here? Hangman versus Omega. I am going with the cleaner, Kenny Omega. Who you got, Krssi?
Omega for the win. Come on, he can't lose. He can't lose.
JJ.
This is about to be the AEW singles match of the year.
Mm.
This shit here.
Be a showstopper.
This is not going to be as predictable as it sounds. Now, because this Hangman story is a year in the making of him failing, of him becoming that first ever AEW champion when he fails to Chris Jericho and hasn't even seen a glimpse of a chance ever since. This is going to, Hangman's going to have to go down. Like he gonna have to lose, and Kenny gonna have to really pull it out to win, yo. Cowboy shit is gonna be on 10. I'm pulling a major upset here and saying Hangman is gonna defeat Kenny Omega here.
I don't even think it's an upset because they kind of build up Omega as being overconfident. So
it feels too easy to predict. It feels like Hangman has just been counted out so quickly. And Hangman has a story. Hangman has been the hottest thing in AEW for the past few months with the whole cowboy shit thing. And then when Kenny became the greatest heel in the company over the past couple of months, I think everybody forgot the Hangman story.
And then finally, the AEW World Championship is on the line. It is an I Quit match.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that fucking match. I'm sorry. I can't wait to see that fucking... Oh, my God. You talking about certified banger extreme.
Yes.
Oh,
I apologize. I should have said that this is going to be a certified banger extreme. This, along with Darby versus Cody and FTR versus the Young Bucks, all three of those matches are going to be certified banger extremes.
Stacked really high. Like, this is like a stacked one this time. They did this one this time, yeah.
I would go out on a limb and say this is literally, and it's not even close to me, I think this is going to be the pay-per-view of the year.
And this one is also going to be a certified banger extreme for the AEW World Championship. The Quit match is going to be Jon Moxley defending the title against Eddie Kingston. They have done a marvelous job building up this matchup. Two former friends, now foes. Eddie Kingston has had and dirty and betray his friend to get a shot at the AEW World Championship. Eddie Kingston says that he's fought 18 years and his mother doesn't have grandkids because he wanted the AEW World Championship. And Jon Moxley says that he's gonna let down his mother Ruth. He's gonna let her down at AEW Full Gear. This is personal beyond belief. Who you got? Moxley versus Kingston. JJ.
God, man, I wish this wasn't a predictive. No, this is not. Moxley's gonna win. My one is how he's gonna win. Like, it's the matter of how, because Kingston ain't giving up. Kingston ain't quitting. He ain't saying it. I don't know how this is gonna happen, because Moxley ain't losing, but Kingston ain't quitting. Like, this shit here, like, oh my God. Bravo to that man for this fucking build, man.
Both guys.
Bravo. Like,
both guys are the best
great builds before. Moxley has had great builds before. But to see Kingston, and Kingston ain't supposed to be here. First of all, Kingston is not supposed to be in this position. Kingston is not, but the reception and the feedback that he got from that TNT title match with Cody. Was it Cody? He had the TNT title match with Cody, which he got great reviews on. Then he had the follow-up match with Moxley. It's been nothing but pure love for Eddie Kingston. And when this is one of those cases where you are literally, and it feels like this man is living like he is on his last opportunity. He's literally living the character of, I'm never going to get another opportunity again. And I fucking love it. I love it, yo.
Krssi, who you got?
Moxley for the win. I have to agree. I don't know how. I think this is going to be a banger for sure. I don't know if Eddie is ready for the title yet, but I feel like it's going to be one of the matches of the night. because it'll be more than one. But I think this is going to be one of them of the night, and I'm going with Moxley for the win. He's not going to take the championship from him yet.
I am so happy for our fellow New Yorker, Eddie Kingston, to have this opportunity to main event a major pay-per-view and have the biggest match of his career. He deserves it after 18 years, busting his ass, grinding on the independents. He has made it to the biggest platform, the biggest stage of his career. But yes, the best babyface in professional wrestling of 2020, of this year, my wrestler of the year, Jon Moxley, will defeat Eddie Kingston in the I Quit match. I don't know how, but he will.
Yo, I was about to put you on the spot and say, how the fuck do you think this is going to happen? Because I don't see him quitting. I don't see it. For you to say on national TV, you're going to have to kill me. I don't care about this show. You're going to have to kill me.
I think we're gonna see the return of barbed wire for the first time in a year in AEW. It's gonna take a barbed wire around Eddie Kingston's throat to probably have him say, "I quit."
I am going 10 out of 10 on blood scale in this match.
It's gonna be
this match is going to be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be awesome, but that is our predictions and preview for AEW Full Gear. Definitely go out of your way. BR Live is going to be available. It's going to be available on pay-per-view. If you are out in the UK, you can get it on Fight TV. This is going to be one of the must-watch pay-per-views of 2020. So that is all for Tru Heel Heat 99. The road to 100 has finally been completed. We have to plug our lineup for the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, our latest interviews for Tru Heel's BTR with Red Velvet, as well as the Weapon of All Destruction, the Woad, talking all about Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell is up on the YouTube channel right now. The debut episode of Review of Honor discussing the first round of the Pure Title Tournament is up on the channel. The return of our very lovely Miss Krssi Love with SmackDown with the Lynches is up on the YouTube channel right now. Joints and Jabroni starring Chris G and Mary Jane for the month of October is there. The latest True Rewind Wednesday Night Warriors, J News Japan, and Dark Power, as well as all new editions of Wednesday Night Warriors, Dark Power, J News Japan, and True Rewind will be up on the channel next week and this weekend. And next week we will also have our New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020, as well as AEW Full Gear 2020 pay-per-view roundtable reviews. So definitely stay tuned for those, because those are going to be great with all the big time matches from this weekend. And also you can check out my latest appearance on Alex McCarthy's Wrestling Daily on WrestleTalk's Wrestle2 YouTube channel, which is about, I think, 3 or 4 subscribers away from 30K. So go over there and subscribe to that channel, as we have our very first great Alex debating who is the best in-ring worker of 2020 between Drew McIntyre and Kenny Omega. Very great debate over there, so check that out. Miss Krssi Love, tell them where they can find you on social media.
When people are not stealing my profile,
Yes.
you can find me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook, Sensation Miss Krssi Love, or Krssi Love _, or just simple Crystal Lynch.
Top Guy JJ.
I'm almost afraid to give my shit at this point.
Right. I mean,
Instagram, I'm Tru Heel _ Top Guy JJ. I'm definitely not worried about getting cloned. That's only for the beautiful people. At Facebook, I am simply Justin Johnson. I'm only worried about messages not getting cloned.
I would hope so. You can also follow the Tru Heels on Facebook on the Tru Heels group page, Tru Heel Heat on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our professional wrestling promotion partners, Battle Club Pro, Warrior Wrestling, and Mission Pro Wrestling on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, go to Title Match Wrestling Network to order Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell. Great show coming up this weekend. Start the weekend off nice with that before Power Struggle and Full full gear. You can also follow our good friends over at Wrestling Travel on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as I was on Wrestling Travel's podcast episode 18 on their Facebook right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channels for Battle Club Pro, Warrior Wrestling, Wrestling Travel, Wrestle 2, Jimmy Macaram, and he needs a plug because his battery is dying. You can subscribe to that YouTube channel as well. And of course, like this video, share it with all your wrestling friends and fans. Of course, subscribe by pushing the icon down at the bottom and the bell to click all notifications for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. If you can't watch us on YouTube, you can listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, wherever you listen to your favorite audio podcasts. So until the biggest episode yet, Tru Heel Heat 100 next week.
100!
Yes, we are finally here. We finally made it down the road to 100. This has been Tru Heel Heat 99, our final time with 2 digits, for our very special guest, Louis Dan Gore of WrestleTalk, for the lovely Miss Krssi Love, for the resident Tru Heel alcoholic Top Guy JJ. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 99. We are signing off until next time.